Hello. Philippe, you're muted.
Yeah, I am. Welcome, welcome. We set you the co-host.
Thank you. I just had a call from a participant who had a hard time finding the link, but I think it looks like everybody else is getting on, so hopefully we're good.
Good, good. I gotta find my...
As you're coming in, welcome. Feel free to we would love to have you on camera if you have the ability to turn on your camera. And also please mute yourself unless you're raising your hand or speaking, so we don't have background noises. Thank you.
Pulling up the right slides here.
Oh, yes.
I've got
We have the spreadsheet as well. Okay.
Hey, no. Hey, stop.
Looks like up to about 19. We had 68 people last time, so let a few more trickle in.
Yes, let's wait a few more minutes. Oh, Juan is on. Okay, so he found the link.
Nice. All right. Welcome, Rolanda, Winnie, Rhoda, Andy, Leah, Ken, Pablo, Steve, Alex, Eric, welcome. Nestor, welcome. All right, just give one more minute. It turns to do this slideshow. Share screen. All right.
It looks good.
Looks good. Popcorn stopped, as I like to say. Welcome, everybody, to session 2. We are happy to have you here and looking forward to sharing more about generative AI with you. As this particular session is going to be focusing on boosting your productivity with generative AI. And just as a reminder, previous session, we just did an introduction. Can't speak this afternoon. And we're going to do a quick debrief session from last one. People share what they did with their homework kind of thing. Then we're going to do 3 sections. One is focusing on business communications, automating it. The other, creative solutions and problem solving. And then for those that have products or research and development or enhancing their products or their offerings, R&D. And then we're going to do some case studies and assignment discussion and any Q&A. Since it seems like, feel free as a sort of a point of context if you want to use the raise your hand. We'll call on you and you can say your question. So just sort of a recap of the session one, we asked you to do a little bit of homework using both Perplexity and the ChatGPT, which is, just two basic two models out there. And we asked, ask it, how can you help me with my personal productivity? That was in the homework assignment. And then how can I create a business model canvas for this, which if you didn't know what that was, we also had a prompt is ask ChatGPT, what is it? Does anybody want to share what they, their own personal experiences, whether, if you're new, all right. Nestor.
Nestor.
You can
How's it
unmute.
going, y'all? All right, so let me get it up so I'm not just talking out of my head. So I missed last class because I just graduated from CSUN. So last week was like all graduation, crazy, hectic stuff. So I apologize for missing last class.
Congratulations.
Appreciate it. Okay, so my business model that I'm going for, I'm very big in the cannabis industry. So I believe in hempcrete and hemp building material. So I wrote in, don't laugh at the name. Hemptopia is a hemp building material business. We focus on growth and development of hemp-based renewable materials, hempcrete, hemp wool, hemp blocks, a material made out of a renewable resource. Hemp building materials are known to last longer than current materials using building homes, so on and so forth. It gave me this, like I put a whole big thing in there. I won't read the whole thing, but it told me, it was like, sounds like Hemptopia is a forefront of sustainable construction, offering innovative solutions that benefit both environmental and homeowners. Automatically, ChatGPT already sounds way more intelligent than I do. So absolutely love it. So I was like, okay, so can you help me with a business model? And it was like, I sure can. I was like, great, because I have no idea what I'm doing. And it literally gives me value propositions, target market, revenue streams of how I can do it by going for sales of hemp-based business materials, consulting services, licensing. These are all things that I already thought of, but I had no idea how to structure them properly. And this thing literally just gave me a spider web of connections of how to like take all my random thoughts I have and put them into like one, place for me to snatch people, complete the whole spider web metaphor. But yeah, that was my experience. I won't keep chatting.
Excellent.
But yeah.
Excellent. And you're a lot of people can use the ChatGPT to just organize our thoughts, right? We all suffer from ADD at some time, or ADHD at some point. Afternoon, I get tired, so it's really good for organizing thoughts. As I put my consulting hat on, that's what the model suggests, and it's a really good start. It's the general wisdom that's out there if you think about it. But for your particular industry, your particular region, your particular space, go talk to people and validate. This is what ChatGPT said, or, do you agree with this, right? Have those conversations, because that's how you're going to build your business. At the end of the day, you're going to have to sell to people and talk to people. And so, yeah, you use it, leverage it. Prema.
Hi, everyone. I've been using ChatGPT since I found it last year, and I took, as like Nestor was speaking, I checked with ChatGPT and the other one, Perplexity. I'm having some issues with pronouncing that. I gave the same prompt to both of them. Actually, I'm working on my business model with SBDC locally. So I need to create my business model and everything. So I basically gave the same prompt to two AI things. And personally, I felt like ChatGPT kind of was thinking out of the box a little bit to give me more ideas, where the other one is just collecting information from my particular website or what I posted in the LinkedIn's. It's giving the references that it pulled out information from my business website and LinkedIn, but it's not expanding more than what I know already. Whereas ChatGPT is helping me to, oh, have you thought of this? Or these are also the things you can look at. It was thought provoking. I would say ChatGPT was more thought provoking. For my personal productivity, the first thing I learned with ChatGPT after like finding this and everything is time blocking is the first major thing I learned from ChatGPT, where it says, unless you have it in the calendar, blocking a time, you won't do that task. That personally helped me a lot with my personal productivity. Like now I have a table where I need to apply for 5 different grants and I have time blocked out for them in my day when to do that.
City or something. Yeah.
City termite.
Yeah.
So those
Doesn't
are
matter,
my
she waived that,
2
okay. So we don't pay that.
ideas.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, somebody's on.
No, I
that-
just muted them.
Oh, that's my review from week 1 and what I'm dealing with AI till now.
Got it. What wonderful. Yeah. And love how you got to experience both of them and see the differences, right? No one person is going to have the same experiences. And that's one of my big things is you engage with it, process it. It's always going to be human in the loop. You know, AI isn't replacing us, it's enhancing our abilities. So it's human in the loop. Love what you said, Prema. It is Prema, not Prima, right? Prema?
I will answer either way.
Oh, no. Your name is important.
It's-
I want to honor you. What is your name? How do I say it?
It's pronounced as prema. It's an Indian
Prema?
language. Yeah, it's an Indian language that means love. It's like from my language to English translation is
Thank
love.
you.
So people recognize that easily that way. Remember that
Wonderful.
easily.
Prema. Thank you. Bonnie, you're up.
Unmute. So ChatGPT has been my best friend. And I have used it a lot for proposal writing. And I'm in regenerative agriculture, and I use it for proposal writing for World Bank projects and USAID projects. And it's just made me sound, I have to input all the things that I
Were you
use-
able to use it for, the 2 prompts, the personal productivity and the business model
Yes.
canvas?
So what I did,
Yeah.
so I didn't use it for my business because I use it all the time. But what I did is I was asked to write a children's book based on my father's World War II experience. And he was a pilot. And so I asked ChatGPT to write a children's book and a little screenplay. I did it first for I wrote children's book, a chapter book, and then I did it for first graders in particular, and it absolutely changed it around. And I've also used it in the past for a poem, and it came up with something that I read to my husband, and it brought tears to his eyes. So I didn't try it on the Perplexity, just because I'm very familiar with the ChatGPT, but it sounds as though it probably wouldn't have been as a creative a piece had I done it.
It's a
with that.
different product, and I very strongly suggest, and this is why we asked you to do the same in both, because then you can personally learn where the strengths are of one versus the other, and then you get to see, because we always say ChatGPT, but it's the entire family of products that are out there, and every week there's a new announcement. And the more we can get, the one thing I'm a proponent of is the world is changing so fast. We've kind of got to get out of our comfort zone and try these tools. And then we'll discover, wow, this was the right tool for me for this job. And it's like somebody just suddenly invented a new tool. Like we already knew what a screwdriver did and what a saw does, and they invented this new tool. And none of us really know how to use it. And so we together can figure out what's the best tool for our needs. So thank you for sharing, Bonnie.
Can I just add one more thing, is that for somebody who's done a long form interview to then break it down into vignettes or sound bites, that is, I'm trying to find the proper AI editing.
Perfect. We can probably
Yeah.
do that in the discussion session. Is excellent.
Perfect. Okay, thanks.
Did you say Farida?
Yes, Farida.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Welcome. You're
Thank you.
shy.
Yeah, not right. But I just at a high level, my experience just side by side ChatGPT and Perplexity, I realized that when you're interacting with ChatGPT, it's more like, for lack of better comparison, I guess I'll say like you're chatting with another human. Like the way it responds to you. How Perplexity is very academic. For instance, well, not academic, but intellectual, I guess, the way it's responding. For instance, when you put a question like, I cannot, like, I believe one of the questions we had was regarding, oh, how can you help me finish my task? I cannot seem to finish my task. Hello?
Yeah, keep going.
Oh, yeah. So our chat GPT goes like, oh, you know, how I can understand how overwhelming it is. And, you know, just like someone responding or like real to me, someone real responding to me.
Perfect.
Meanwhile, Perplexity was like, okay, let me go see, okay, here are the ways. Sometimes you get overwhelming and it's just going into the definition and how, you know, when you get overwhelmed, what happens and stuff like that. So I noticed that little bit of difference, which made me come to a conclusion that Perplexity is more good for people like journalists and stuff who really want more detailed and resourceful, authenticated source materials versus ChatGPT's anybody. I just want at a high level.
Yeah.
That was my conclusion.
Perfect. And thank you for sharing. And Linda, bring us home. You're the
Hello, can you hear me?
we can loud and clear.
Okay, thank you. How everybody doing? Good, I hope. Okay, look,
Oh,
I didn't get the chance to do my homework, but I did get the chance to use AI. And I really like the way it helped me put my ads together for my eBay account. So it helped me upload. I uploaded a few products on eBay, and it did pretty good for me on that particular thing.
Excellent. When we talk about how to do the marketing and other things, that you'll be an expert in the to share your learnings when we get to that section. That would be wonderful.
Okay, cool. I'm catching up on everything though, because
Yeah.
yeah,
No
okay.
worries. We just encourage you to try to do the homework and do both so that you can kind of see, you know, how the different tools are. And so perfect. Thank you for sharing.
I will work with Chat GPT before we get back together next week.
Nestor's put in the
Great
chat
question.
that if you're more kind to ChatGPT, it will help you more. And you know,
Okay,
there's is it true or not? You know, I guess I'd be curious. We could just ask the audience, right? You know, say just respond to Nestor, yes or no. What is everybody's experience? Did anybody notice that? Yes or no? You know, I'd be curious there. Be a good thing, and we'll advance to the next slide, and then I'll give you my opinion after everybody else has given theirs. So we're going to talk about automating your business communications. I'm going to turn it over a little bit to Isabel, you know, for this slide, and she can share how she's been doing some of the things, and then we'll do the little demo of such. Nope. Isabel, did we lose her?
No, I am here. Sorry, I was actually going to respond to Nestor's question as you were speaking. But and I was reading the comment to see there was like some common themes.
My brother, let's say let's see, agree. So a couple of agree.
Yes.
So
I would personally think, I haven't experienced it, but I would think that he should not treat you differently, whether you're very polite or not. But in terms of giving you the best answer, no matter what, I think he will treat everybody with the same amount of respect, but I could be wrong.
yeah, so my own experience has been when I'm directive to the prompt, the results are fine. No distinction. So if I literally say the assistant will do this, the human will do that, the results are perfect, right? If I use too many pronouns or other things, I won't get a good result. It might misinterpret. Now, if I'm chatting, right, like, would you please do this, or what do you think about that? You know, and just use the normal graces that you do with a person, like in a sort of a brainstorming session. it personally feels more natural to have that conversation with the chat bot. And so it helps me think about things and interrupt a little bit. And if you've watched the new AI YouTube videos, voice is coming and it's all the rage. And so you'll be talking to it, not necessarily typing to it. And right now we're still typing to it. So Isabel, all yours.
All right, so we're going to talk in this section a little bit about business communications. Personally, I don't code AI like Philippe does, so I don't do extremely technical things with AI, but I use it mostly for content creation, which we'll go into more details next week, and business productivity in general, such as email automation. So these are some examples here that I'm going to read through about how you can leverage AI tools in business communication. So for example, email automation, right? So sometimes you have to write maybe a lot of emails or personalize the email. And even though you may use a platform to send out the email itself, like MailChimp or something like that, in terms of writing the message, right? The AI tool can really help you write, especially if writing is not your strong suit or you don't, enjoy doing a lot of writing. You can feed the AI tool, so you will write a very nice email. And then if you put some details, as we've demonstrated a little bit, and we'll do more demo today. If you have some specific things about the person, right? ChatGPT will or other AI tool provide some very good personalization in a creative manner of something you can write in the email. So that's one way that you can easily automate, the writing part of emails. Report generation, it's another way where you can look at different reports. You can synthesize data. So not all the platforms have also the ability to attach files. So if I remember, so I use the free version of ChatGPT, which doesn't let me upload attachments. But I've used Claude AI or some other tools, or even I think Perplexity, you can, I think, upload.
So just a quick, prior to Monday or last week when ChatGPT 4.40, not 4.0, but 4.0 came out, that what Isabel was true, you couldn't add files. It's now free for everybody to add a basic file. So yeah.
Great, thank you for the update. Actually, I saw something prompted on my ChatGPT talking about Chat-O, and I haven't, I was wondering what some of the changes were. So that's good to know. Yes, because I will give you another example that maybe not explained here or listed is I had to write a bio, for example, and so I attached my resume to the AI tool to just say, hey, write a bio for me under 100 words or something like that, right? So I love the ability to attach files when possible, when you can use that feature. That could be really useful. So you can do report generation. Many of us shop online, and we've all, I believe, experienced, in this case, chatbots, right? So a lot of companies now on their website have chatbots, which can be sometimes frustrating, as it's been in my personal experience, because you're hoping that there will be maybe a person eventually interacting with you, and sometimes there is, sometimes there isn't, but at least the chatbot itself can answer a lot of the questions or give you a link to point you in the right direction on the website. So that's one way to also really
to comment also on the chatbots. Many of the chatbots that you might have experienced on the web were the old ones, where literally somebody programmed them. If customer says this, then say that. The new wave of technology is literally a customized ChatGPT that has your company's frequently asked questions your policies on shipping, receiving, anything, your hours in just a document. And literally it's chatting against your documents. It's not pre-programmed. So you may see those differences, and you'll generally feel them because when you're chatting with the chatbot, it's more humanistic, human-like. And so just the word chat was like the really, I don't know, bad ones, and they're really changing quite a bit. So leave it at that.
That's a great feedback. And I think that's also speaks to the notion we covered last time, which was, AI can mean a lot of things, right, to a lot of people. And there is this very wide spectrum between, things that we may call AI, which was AI, 10 years ago, like some of these basic features. And now really AI has so much more power, right? So I think sometimes it's also thinking about really using the latest AI, features and capabilities. I think that's a good point. Meeting summaries. Well, I think, again, many of us may have used that. So when you're on virtual calls now, there are many tools that you can use to take notes, and the tool itself will not only provide you transcripts, but also make summaries from the meeting. So personally, I use Fathom, which is one of the Zoom integrated AI tools. I know many people used to use Otter. I saw someone's notes earlier that I'm sorry, I actually had to cancel from the meeting because we're recording. And so we just wanted to make sure we don't have this alarm, but it was Read AI. So this is great. And I have, in my personal experience, these have been very accurate. So after I have a call, I will receive a summary from the AI tool. And usually it's like a really great summary of, let's say, the 3-4 key points discussed in the meetings, what was decided, the action items, who's supposed to do what after the meeting. I think it saves a lot of time and effort. So, kind of meeting minutes, for example, that really has totally made these meeting minutes efficient and super quick to do that. So I will encourage you, if you're on a lot of Zoom or virtual calls, for experiment with that, because it's something that's easy to do. And in Zoom, there is an apps tab, and browse this tab. And I think there are, again, a couple of options today that are recommended by Zoom that are super easy to integrate. So just something you can try. Content creation for marketing. I'm not going to go into a lot of length about this today, because next week is going to be focused on marketing and content creation. So we'll talk more about that next week, but there is definitely a huge potential. Many of you mentioned it last week, right, that we think AI can help write marketing brochures, marketing materials, even website copy, this kind of thing. Translation and localization. I actually just did that earlier today. When you need to translate something, and I think we're going to look at that a little bit in a few minutes as we're doing demo. It can translate into any language. So that's very helpful, whether you have something from a foreign source and you need translated in English or vice versa. The AI tools today have a super quick and accurate translation capability. So if you have, whether it's, for your business or even personal use, I'm bilingual, and so I go between two languages very often, and that sometimes makes it easier for me when I have to translate a lot of content. And last but not least, as examples that we listed here, speech to text, text to speech services, right? So for accessibility, same thing. That's been really wonderful to use the ability to translate. To convert speech to text, text to speech. Any questions or any comments about some of these features that we just covered?
Yeah, I'm gonna
Um,
prep my computer. I just turned on.
Or yeah, we're gonna do
Screen for
some demo, but again, this was not you know, there are definitely more examples. We just gave you a list of various things that can be considered, but the list can be, you know, quite extensive now, as you know, and the evolution of AI every day, you know, provides new examples all the time.
All right, so I'll share screen. Make sure I share the right one. All right. So first, everybody will get a copy of the prompts that I'm using today, along with the homework. And it's literally going to lay out the prompts that I'm typing in here so you can get a sense. We used the Robo Pet last week as an example. And the one thing that I want you to make sure that when you do is, if you're using the ChatGPT, and I'll show you how to do that, use the memory and it'll remember what your business is, and it'll answer the questions from the perspective of your business. If you simply ask a question without telling it about your business, it's going to answer very generically, right? So last week we said, you know, create the business concept. I'm just going to run that into the ChatGPT real quick. And you'll, that's not that. Let me copy. And we'll paste. And this is doing this. The chat 4.0, if you didn't notice when you first logged in, these are the models you get to choose from. This was the 3.5, was the version 3 was the one that kicked off the storm, heard round the world and changed everything. And then they made these other models which were slightly better. This is the latest model. And the reason you should generally use this is the newest, and it's twice as fast and it's half the cost. So if you're using services, so it created, I asked it to create, we need to create a marketing email as an example of how to use AI. Here's my business concept. Here's a marketing email example. You know, discover the future of companionship with RoboPet. Dear recipient, are you ready to experience, you know, learn and adapt, emotional support? It pulled literally things from it thinks from my business. So the better you describe your business, the more it can create a custom email for your business to somebody. All right.
Philip, sorry to interrupt. We have a question from Nestor. I think you
Yeah.
raised your hand. Nestor, you want to ask your question and unmute yourself?
I thought I unmuted myself, but I didn't. Okay, so I was asking, earlier you were talking about using it for writing speeches and whatnot, and then we're talking about business. I'm also in the film industry, so writing scripts. I was wondering about ownership of when you're like writing scripts, writing speeches, writing a business proposal, any one of these. What is the legality of ChatGPT's on your idea, your proprietary information, all that?
Yeah. So that's I cannot provide legal advice as a consultant, so I can't answer that directly. I
Okay.
can say that the privacy policy, and this is a tremendous concern of a lot of companies, you can read ChatGPT's privacy policies on all of them, is that they're trying to balance the line of when you type something in, and you say the response was good, they're using that information to try to make the model better next time. Okay. They've said that they're not specifically looking for your proprietary information or private information. I personally know of some companies that have said, particularly the pharmaceutical industry, where they have very, you know, secret formulas for the drugs and secret plans. And so they've made it, they've prevented their employees from using ChatGPT, right? They should say they've they've made a policy not to allow them to use a ChatGPT for that fear. And the companies are trying to create their own internal private GPT, right? So it's outside, your question is well outside what this, I can provide you as legal advice, but it's a huge debate out there.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah. And I think, we're seeing that with universities too. So some universities are also now doing their own AI tool because, right, I think they are concerned that maybe some of the faculty or researchers could be entering things in the prompts that, could be secret. Eric is asking for always half the cost. I'm assuming, Philippe, you meant that it is from the current paid version, the new one is half the cost. Is that?
Yeah. So yes. So the ChatGPT 4.0 is free to use, right? Currently, I have some limits on the speed and responsiveness of the free version. They have a paid version that's $20 per month, and it takes off those limits. But if you get very involved in it, you might do something like myself, which is using tools where I'm using the behind the scenes, what's called the application programming interface, and those charged by sort of the word, like 0.000 pennies per word. But if you're sending in a 50,000 page essay into different chunks, it can add up to 20 cents a time every time you're clicking the button. So those are where the costs are sort of relative, if you will. So if you're a company and you're thinking about, hey, I want to take these concepts and turn them into a program, turn them into a process and add them, the ChatGPT currently is one of the price leaders in the cost performance, but it'll change probably in the next 30 days. So that's what I was referring to. Hopefully that answers. So we just did this. I'm going to show you that it can completely translate, and we're going to do translate to Spanish, and then I'm going to do this, and then Indonesian. Oh. I'll throw this. Where did I? Oh, I deleted. I closed my window. What we were just doing. So here's the translation, and it's for all you Spanish speakers out there, you can let me know if it's translated pretty reasonable, right? For RoboPet. Now, if we have any Indonesian speakers, it does Indonesian as well. So Inland Empire has a lot of multi-languages out there. So if you're expanding, you can consider, how do I reach more people? Because I can now communicate in multiple languages. I can do it inexpensively and very rapidly, right? I like this one because, I ask, what are the most likely frequently asked questions that people ask about my business? Right? In this case, I said, and this is a sort of an interesting technique. It says, leave the blank section if you don't know the details so I can fill them in, right? Like people might ask, what's my store hours? Or what's your return policy, whatever number of things. And, what makes RoboPet different? How does RoboPet help with mental health? What features does it have, right? And it left the blank here. Please list the specific features, right? How do I set up RoboPet? Step-by-step guide. Is RoboPet safe? So again, it's that framework, that basic thinking about what is common needs, what are common questions. This is really what it does. All right. I think, We got one more here. So you've been using RoboPret. We talked about finding new ideas. There's this, yeah, this is still under. You know. Oh, and I asked it, you know, what new features could I add to my products and services that this is the imaginary company? You know, how can I use RoboPet's features, you know, gather information? So it's giving me lots of ideas that I might not have thought about. You know, how does AI analyze market data and preferences? These are places where if you have information, you can start asking it questions. Let's go back. I don't know if we have enough time for the third one, new markets.
But yeah, I think we can go a little briefly and then move on to the next topic.
This one is very interesting. Isabel and I have used this for a number of things. In fact, we used it for a hypothetical clean tech. It was doing gardening and that sort of stuff. And I'd actually identified Buenos Aires as a country that has lots of backyard gardens, and they would probably want a product. And both of us were blown away by the capabilities. But analyze global market trends and identify new markets, right? Demographics, aging population. Maybe you can, instead of having your RoboPet for children, it could be for adults. Urbanization, what does that make for you know, maintenance-free pets? High technology adoption rates in the United States, South Korea, Scandinavian might be good. Rising middle class in Brazil, Indonesia, and Nigeria. Didn't know that. Healthcare investments, Canada, UK, Australia invest money in healthcare. Didn't know that, right? Again, these are starters. You certainly want to speak to somebody from Australia and validate that this is correct. But it's probably at the generic level, it's probably true. When it gets to specific details, if you said, what year-over-year growth does Australia have? It's likely to get it wrong. It's just like if I ask my neighbor, how fast is the United States growing or shrinking? They would probably give me a bad answer. So think if your neighbor doesn't know the answer for a specific number, you probably need to ask other people. Any other questions in there? No. Okay, good. Let's go back to slideshow. I think I got these. I think we did the order wrong, but we'll get to the next demo. Stupid, you know, we're not as smart as the AI sometimes. In this section, we're going to cover the solutions and problem solving. You saw a little bit of that already. We'll probably do the demo backwards. I'm sorry. Product development. It's very remarkable that if you're talking to customers and you're asking them, what do you like? What do you don't like? And you had, you know, 10 or 15 customer, you know, conversations, you could very easily ask the AI to summarize them. You can very quickly say, what are the major things that people are concerned about? What should I then enhance? Wonderful capability to do that. If you have a product where you're really trying to describe your product in a nice way that they can understand, how can I say faster, quicker, cheaper in a nice marketing way? What features do I have that are benefits to a customer, and translate it? We already saw a little bit of the market trends where the AI can find the you know, other markets out there. This is one of my favorite ones, and I don't think we're going to have time to share it, and that's competitive analysis. You can point the new chat 4.0 allows you to type in a URL or cut, copy, and paste the competitor's website. And you can literally say, analyze this website, this competitor's, tell me what their strengths and weaknesses are. And it'll spit out something faster than a grad student from college can do it, or an intern can do it, remarkably fast. And then the last part that's really very cool is the creative process. We already heard when we heard people talk about what their experiences were in homework, that it was more, that ChatGPT came up with more creative answers and more ideas. Literally, you can ask ChatGPT endless, that's a great idea. What other ideas do you have? Right? Here's a crazy idea. What do you think to this? It's a conversation starter and a conversation process. So let's come back.
We have a question, Irma, right? Is
Yes,
that
Irma. Yes,
Irma?
yes, thank you. This is Irma Flores. I want to go back to the competitive analysis. So did you say that you can upload another person's another website and it'll
Yes.
tell you? Because I'm in the
Yeah.
middle of creating a website, so I've been researching other sites. So
Yeah, you can. You can literally, that's probably the marketing for next week. You could literally say, here's my product. What do you suggest is in my website? What's a common structure for my website? What should I have on it? And it'll literally say your about page should have this. You should have a products page or a services page. You might have it, and you literally, just like we said, describe your company, like the RoboPet. This is my company. I suggest you really work to make that good. And you can say, I'm thinking about making a website. Here's my target audience. What should be on my website? And if we have time, and I'll show, we can, that's
so you
where,
said it does tell you the weaknesses and strengths of another
yeah,
company.
it can do that. I will see if we
Oh.
can do that ad hoc.
Yeah,
Probably-
maybe we can do a quick demo of
I can probably do it against my own share screen.
So basically we are doing a SWOT analysis.
Yeah, you can do that. Look, you
You can
can.
do a full SWOT, Prema, or you can simply say, I know, Philippe, what we've done sometimes is if you have a main competitor, let's say, and you're launching a product, you can say, summarize the 3 key, sales positioning from this competitor, right? And so whatever you're trying to find out about the competitor, the AI can really bring in like a summary of it. Also, if you're like trying to like understand like their main activities or their main focus in terms of what they are promoting and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the key point is you can upload a file, right? And so you can make a copy of the front of your competitor's homepage. You literally go to the top and say save page as, and you can upload it here. And then you can ask it questions about that company.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. There's so many ideas out there. I've certainly tried a ton of them. I don't know all the secrets, but I'm trying. So what here's a thing is I'm saying this was the next section. Find some ideas for a prompt, right? Generate some prompts. Like I don't know what I should ask, right? Use RoboPet as the background, and I had some topics. And here's some topics that I was interested in. And I literally put them in. So let's put this in. Since we're always, at the SBDC, we're always trying to help companies be innovative and think about new products and new services. I asked, for RoboPet, you know, what are some examples of you know, inquiring about the possibilities of future? So I could literally say, how does RoboPet scan the global trends? It came up with some things, proposal prompts. If I wanted to ask AI, you know, help me draft and customize proposals for RoboPet, right? And it starts giving you examples. What are the benefits of using AI to create data-driven proposal for RoboPet? So it's coming up with all sorts of, for each one of the topics that I was interested in, right? Solving business problem prompts. These are questions around that. Describe AI algorithms. You know, how does RoboPet implement AI? That one's not so useful, but automating repetitive tasks. You know, identify specific repetitive patterns that AI can automate. Discuss the benefits. We often get asked about grants within the industry. You know, can my product be used to identify relevant grant opportunities? Probably not. I think that one didn't do as well as it had in the past. This is an interesting one. For anybody that's building a product, you know, what solutions can AI provide to address the high manufacturing costs of RoboPet, right? Yep, somebody's raised that. Hang on.
That's me again. It's me, Irma Flores, unless somebody raised it before.
Yep,
Did somebody
Irma.
raise it? Oh, okay.
Yep.
I have a question that's a little more sensitive. So I work a lot with doing how do I say this? It's human trafficking. I work with law enforcement.
Sure.
So my question is, with AI, how do you know, like lately I'm very careful when it comes to social media, and if I see things that might be negative, how does AI, because I've never even thought of this, how does AI, are they able to like detect, is it able to detect if there's someone that's doing things they're not supposed to do, or if you want to find out that someone is maybe
so you've sort of, you're opening up you know, that's probably an entire discussion on the ethics and privacy and other things, and it's one of the things I talk about I write about a lot. You've got to remember that the AI models, the chats particularly, they're trained on the information that's generally publicly available.
Okay.
Right? So to the extent that there's both good information publicly available and bad information publicly available, the models were trained on and sort of imitate us humans. All right? The balance of people are posting good information. So the balance of information that the models are trained on is good information. The balance, there's some that's trained badly. For certain groups that have been marginalized in our society, they don't have as much information out in the internet, or the victor wrote history. Those create biased situations, and those are that's one of the biggest ethical challenges that we have. How do you model and look at the future when you're using all the information from the past to create the models, right? And that has not been solved. People are trying to figure out, how do I do it? And the more people that write, about what is, the more you're a content producer. In some regards, it's my personal opinion, you are now exercising your democratic right to shape the future, because the AI systems will be using that information to move forward. But that's getting a little off off topic. Hope I helped you.
I don't know if you're asking Irma if, let's say, if I'm starting to write bad things in my AI, like let's say how to kidnap people or something. I don't know about AI. What I know is in old times, I've heard of cases where Alexa, many of us have an Alexa device, right? Could actually be, actually my Alexa is just getting on. There are things like that, but in chats, was that your question? I was trying to understand.
Yes and no. It's just I'm just because we're in January we'll be doing a human trafficking, but the focus will be on social media and access because a lot of these, I know I'm getting a little off, so I apologize.
Yeah.
A lot of these big corporations like Google, Facebook, they're fighting legislation to because there's several states, like 9 states in the country that are fighting.
Let's take that
Let's
offline and get
we'll do that.
get
I
in
do want to
contact
talk
with
to
us
you
so we
about
can
that.
help you
Yes,
specifically and direct you to the right place.
yes, I would like
We
that.
have
Thank you.
a couple of other questions, Philip. I think one is a good one from Steve, because I know I've also been asking myself that question. When we have when we want to mine research, maybe a study that we could be purchased regarding a specific market, do we need to tell the AI app specifically to point to that study, or can we be broader than that? So that's the question from Steve.
Yes. So generally speaking, the model is not trained on any private information. So if a research report was behind a paywall, the information is not there. But there's lots of places where a website might have referenced that information and written an article that says, according to this research report, it says this. That information is generally in the chat GPTs. The problem with a chat GPT is you do not know where it got its information from. That's why for that sort of very specific, where did your information come from? People use the Perplexity because it's a smart search. It'll say, I found this research art. These are the answers, and they came from these websites. And then you can go to the original source. Did I answer your question, Steve? And if not, just unmute and.
No, that's helpful. You got it. Thank you.
Got it. Is there anybody else? Any other questions I missed?
Linda had a question that I don't know if we should answer it now, but about wanting to do options and exchange traded funds. How do I start that? I'm not exactly sure I understand the question, but
What's the question?
I'll just say, Linda, there are people. So if that's your interest, literally go to Perplexity and ask the question, I'm interested in using generative AI for options and exchange traded funds. How do I start? And you might discover websites you didn't even know about, right? It really is that remarkable. I wouldn't have the answer to that, but I certainly believe that out of the 8 billion people and the half of the planet posting onto the internet, there's an answer somewhere.
Exactly.
All right. Let's see.
I think we can, go into the next section.
Yeah, let's do that because we need to push forward here. I think we got these out of order. AI is really good for even R&D, and we call it R&D, but even if you have a software business that you're selling as e-commerce or even a deep tech or whatever you're providing, asking the AI, here's my product. Where else do you think I could sell it? Or what do you think I could do to enhance it? It's remarkable at what it will come up with. And we did that a little bit you saw a little bit of that with the RoboPet, and we'll do some more. As far as the global trends, it can look at global trends keep in mind that the models, or the information that's in its sort of brain, is from October of 2023. So if there was a world catastrophe or change or huge difference, the general ChatGPT is not going to know about it. So for broad trends that are trends over years, it's very good for asking those questions of the market opportunities. You saw where it said, for the RoboPet, it said South Korea has a big healthcare system, might be an opportunity for a RoboPet companion, right? Wonderful, didn't know that, but that's a big macro trend. I believe, I forget who said they were using it to write proposals, customized proposals, either to your customers, or present proposals to your customers, or to the government, you're asking for grant monies, or any number of things. You can put out the sketches. And again, one of my biggest tricks is I'm a terrible typer. So I literally use my phone or Microsoft Word, and I speak my mind, and I just bloop, stream of consciousness. And the first thing I do is ask it, rearrange my thoughts. Once I have my rearranged thoughts, then I can go in and say, oh, please turn this into a proposal, or please turn this into something. So that's a shortcut. Anytime you're making a decision and such, I found the ChatGPT really good at putting something into a 2x2 matrix. You say, here's all my problems, here's some thoughts I'm running about. How would you organize this into a 2x2 matrix? Price, performance, speed, or cost, complexity, whatever that might be. And it does a remarkable job of giving you ways of thinking about the choices. We often, as humans, we get stuck on the first one, and we can ask the ChatGPT, go, great answer, give me 5 more answers. And it'll give you 5 more creative answers that are all, generally valid. There's a ton, even in R&D, there's a ton of tasks that are repetitive. Talking to people, asking interviews, recording information, translating notes, typing them in, putting them into nice little spreadsheets with, rows and columns. Here's the person's name, here's the title, here's the phone number. It can take disorganized data and repetitively put it together. And we already talked a little bit about the SBIR grants. So.
And I don't know if everybody here knows what SBIR grants are, or those are fairly research focused.
I know what I did. I must have cut copy and paste when I put the document together wrong, because we already did this one.
Yeah.
Go back and find my version history. So I messed up. What chats? Yeah, I made him. I did a stupid human trick. I cut, copy, and paste over my document. We already did the brainstorming. So let's see. Innovation, market research. So let's do, who are the most likely competitors to RoboPet? So we'll stop this. So all of these big companies are in ChatGPT as of October of last year. Sony Aibo, well-known robotic dog, interacts. Strong brand, technology. You know, these are all different products out there. But in thinking about it, you can do, let's just take Sony, right? And I'm, you know, I've got my RoboPet idea. How would I compete against Sony's Aibo, right? How to spell it right?
Yes.
Yeah. And what I want to again highlight for everybody that's watching, because you know, have a conversation with the chat. You know, it says differentiate against your unique value proposition, right? We know RoboPet was a therapeutic, so emphasize the design for emotional support, the mental benefits, integrating with healthcare systems, right? Think about building case studies. Now, these for some of you, you're not doing a medical, you know, RoboPet, but I wanted to give something where I doubt anybody is building a RoboPet. So we picked something that nobody likely to be doing. You know, focus on advanced AI capabilities. What makes yours more personal, more, you know, behaviors? You know, how can you use it to detect mood and other things? Can it integrate with the smart home devices? Wonderful ideas, right? Could you compete against pricing and different models at different price points? Could you compete on the ease of setup and the intuitive controls? Not to be, you know, and be exhaustive, marketing and branding, you know, collaborate with influences in healthcare to endorse the RoboPet, right? Now, I'm not, you know, these are, you can all go to, you know, I hope to put myself out of business, you know, Eric and others, we're consultants. We help companies figure out what they're going to do next, but ChatGPT can shorten your path quite a bit because it can give you some thoughts of what are these ideas, right? Partnerships. And now I think we were going to do the breakout sessions.
Breakouts, yes. So it's time to get into our breakouts because we have about 25 minutes left, and we usually do the breakout for about 15 minutes. And after that, we'll report back and do just the assignment for next time.
Right. So how many we have? We have 43.
43, so about 40 people.
So 7 would be 6 a room.
Yeah. Yeah. I think 6 rooms sound right.
Okay.
So you can join the breakout, and so you want to bring the slide about the breakout, Philippe?
Oh, I think I hit enter too fast.
Oh. Or we can broadcast to the
yeah.
the idea was that of what we were going to talk about in the breakout.
You want to tell the remainders what's
Yes.
going on? I could carry the message to the room you've assigned me.
Okay, so basically, I think Philippe is going to also copy it. So the idea of the breakout, yeah, was to discuss the current examples of what we just showcased, how you can apply this to your business, maybe pick a few things that resonated with you, and what can you commit to in, you know, maybe in exploring a little bit further. And we'll be back in 15 minutes, and you can share some of the discussion and your thoughts.
Alexa, set timer for 15 minutes.
15 minutes, starting now. One minute removed. You now have about 13 minutes and 53 seconds left.
So we have some folks, hopefully that means they are maybe stepped away or something and they are
Yeah,
not
yeah, they
clicking on
stepped away.
okay, all right.
Hi, would you be able to open up the breakout rooms? For some reason, I can't join a breakout room.
Reyes,
Yeah.
I'll find him unassigned. Where is he?
Oh, I see you, room 6, Christian. Moved.
Not joined.
Yeah, I'm not sure how to get you in. Oh, it looked like he joined, Philip. Okay.
Yeah, I found it. Probably the join button got hidden.
I just got a new.
I wonder what I did on the. Let me make sure. All right, looks like everybody's back.
Yeah.
We'll give you a chance to let everybody share what some important findings, but there was a question, somebody was asking, they wanted to take AI further. How did they get involved? What kind of classes should they be taking, that sort of stuff? And we certainly planned on providing some more information at the end of the course, but certainly we've been sending out emails from the University of California, Riverside SBDC. We can certainly get with you, figure out what it is you need, and either we'll be able to service you through that organization or direct you to one of our sister organizations throughout the Southland. In addition to that, there's certainly, depending on whether you want technical courses or non-technical courses, all of the Harvard, the Open University, and I'll find those and figure out how to send those. But there's free courses from Harvard. There's free courses on Coursera. There's free courses on, what's the other one? Spacing right now, but there's a lot of information out there. And if you're associated with the local library, all the local libraries have access to a lot of the LinkedIn learnings and that sort of stuff. And they have a lot of AI courses there as well. So there's lots of, and then of course, there's lots of people on Coursera offering paid courses. And so it just depends on what level of energy and effort you want to put into your own business. So I hope you had a chance to see what AI can do today. We originally thought we were going to do a small breakout, small workshops, but when the demand was 40, 50 people, we ended up having to do more of a show and tell. But I hope you had a chance to see some of the possibilities. You might have experienced it writing emails or writing proposals, but I wanted to give you, Isabel and I wanted to give you a broader brush. So anybody want to share what you discussed and any thoughts about AI, next steps, and how you might use it to improve your business communications and productivity? Boy, quiet crickets.
Anybody volunteering?
No worries.
Well, we threw around a few things in our group. One of the things that we talked about was that it comes up with a whole lot of ideas. And, like that example with the robot dog, I thought of 2 or 3 things that might be interesting. You mentioned, what are your hours open? But it came up with a dozen or something. And so some of them may be not so good ideas, but some of them could be ideas I hadn't considered. So that was the nice thing. It opened up my eyes to other possibilities I had not given any consideration to.
Thank you, Eric. Beverly?
Okay. Oh, good. I'm unmuted. So in our group, we just talked about the potential of what AI and where we are with it currently. And I was sharing that I'm actually taking a deep dive into it myself, and I belong to various groups. And my own vision for my business is to do a combination of teaching, because I have enough data amassed myself and a good enough understanding of it to create courses. And I actually have a AI prompt to help me do that. amongst those things. Also, joining groups that have a similar alignment, and also other things that I have that I've used it for are things like creating a marketing persona. So who's one's ideal client, how to help me. And again, this is very business focused. This is primarily how I use it. But it's very difficult, in my opinion. I think when it's one's own business or company, like really, what is that unique selling point? What is it uniquely? So to be able to use ChatGPT or any of those prompts, using a prompt like that to help, to help you understand how to do that, and even to create one that is helping me put together my product offering or package. So it just takes a lot of that. It goes so far beyond just email creation or not just, but tasks that used to take me hours and I'd have to be a month in advance, my blog posts, my emails, all of that stuff, I can now get done in a few hours. Or, my brother had asked me, he's got a fitness business and he wanted, just a quick email. He couldn't come up with something to announce to his customers that they're switching to his clients, that they're switching to a different pay modality. And so he asked me to whip it up. It literally took me less than 2 minutes and did it in a way that was so much more personalized and better than something that would have taken me hours. So stuff like that is just amazing.
Yep. Yeah, I think it'll give us a chance to have more conversations, people to people, frankly. Instead of writing an email, I can have more conversations and meet more people like you. Pepe.
Yes. Okay. I guess one of the things that struck me as Eric was sharing about the volumes of information that you get from an inquiry is that it almost gives you information overload, where now you have so much information to sort through that you almost feel intimidated to make a move because you haven't gotten to all of the chance to do the necessary research and review on the recommendations that they've given you. So, of course, we kind of just pull out a couple nuggets that we need, that we think that's going to be sufficed. But I would imagine somebody coming in from right from the beginning, seeing all of that information pop up in front of your eyes in second, two, right? And you say, where do I start at?
Great thing. And by the thing that you do is you literally go, I read all this information, I'm overloaded, where do I start? Literally type that in. I challenge you to type that in and see what it helps you with, right? That's what's amazing about the ChatGPT from all the other sort of previous technologies, because it kind of works the way our brains work. We pop all over the place. It's not programmed to be canned responses. So it's not perfect. And it's less than a year old, really, in being publicly, available. I mean, it's the fastest adoption of any technology I've seen in my life. And I'm a little older than 20 years, 21, All right.
Really?
I was just gonna add, that's Peppy, that's exactly what I was gonna do too, because I don't like when I have too much information myself. And so I've asked it before, can you give me, the top 3 actions I should take, or, just like even if it's a top number, but I feel the same way. I don't like to be overwhelmed with information. And so there's a way you can actually have it do that, and then just piecemeal it in a way.
Yeah. Eben.
Yes, hi. Sorry, I don't have a camera, but was in group 3, and something interesting that came out of that is if everybody is using this tool, then everybody's going to start to sound the same. Everybody's going to be using and getting kind of the same feedback from the AI, and it's going to start eating itself. For everybody, it's going to kind of flatten it. So there's certainly a need for people to have the flavor of their talk, their speech, and their humanness in communications, which, is an additional step. Also, that within Chat GPT, that if you want your searches to not be a part of the training of the language model, you can pay a little bit more and have an additional person on, kind of as a company partner. And that makes it such that it isn't searchable, and it doesn't fuel any competitive advantage to somebody else, because it's not a part of the larger language model out there. So there is a way to do your work on ChatGPT and not have it used by everyone else, or that doesn't feed the model.
All right. I'd like to talk in a second, Beverly, but let me just bring up the slides so we can end on time and people can stay if they'd like. And share screen. So for next session, we're going to be talking about marketing and content creation. And so that we drill into some of these concepts both, and we'll be doing some images, how to use the images with AI and get away a little bit from just the ChatGPT, although ChatGPT does do images and even Bing does images and that sort of stuff.
We will, and I will send the recording. I know we got that question last time, with also the assignment that, some of the things you can do as homework between now and the next session. There will be a link to it. And Philippe, I think on the other document, right, that's the assignment for next time.
Yeah, and I already fixed my mistake, so that's it. Beverly, did you want to?
Yes, just one last, and it's really addressing, Pepe, your point. We are becoming curators, in other words, decisions of the content that we generate. And it's very, I know what you mean about being overwhelmed by information. So ask GPT, please summarize, the information above with 5 or 10 key points, bullet point them, and it'll do it for you like that.
It's 3:30. The program's officially over. If you want to stay on, Isabel and I have a few minutes. You can stay and ask questions. I am going to turn off the recording at this point. And thank you. It's been Isabel's and my pleasure to help guide you on this journey of this fantastic new technology. And hope to see you next time.
Thank you.